Hello, I'm James and I'm just starting my third year of medicine here at Leicester. I'm part of the LumRes committee and my role there is one of the two SPARKS coordinators. So what we do there is we just get like different academics to come in throughout the year and present their research to us medical students. Obviously with COVID it might be a while before we get someone in person again, but hopefully there'll be like stuff online throughout the year.
Hello, I'm Elena and I'm a fourth year medical student.
Hi, I'm Jade. I'm a fourth year medical student at the University of Leicester.
So my name's Ayushi Ramji and I finished my third year of medicine. In my fourth year I was doing my intercalated masters. I was intercalating in medical research, so what I was trying to figure out was how to improve vaccination uptake and awareness for both MMR and men-ACWY. And also I was seeing if face masks could be used to detect meningitis.
My more noble achievements was I became a very avid runner. Was never a big fan of running before, but during the lockdown period I got very competitive about it. I went and bought myself a Fitbit, was obsessively looking at my Strava. And I also spent time studying. As you'll see when you start, there are some sort of questions on Blackboard, like revision style SBAs. So like me and some of my friends sort of helped write those. So that was one way of passing the time and hopefully people benefit from them in the future. Maybe sort of less noble stuff is got up on sleep. There's definitely a lot more time to take lie-ins. I probably got 8 hours a day most days of the week for the first time in maybe since childhood, which is very, very nice. And I got reacquainted with my PlayStation.
Today I'm going to be telling you about my YouTube channel, Medflix. Medflix was created in January 2020 when I realised that there was a lack of free resources online explaining and simplifying the topics that I was learning at a level for medical students to pass their exams and using the latest UK NICE guidelines. I realised that if I was having this problem, I couldn't be the only one. I decided to make short but clear videos that contained all the relevant details of topics for our exams, while making it interactive and easy to follow. Medflix was designed for medical students like myself, but since its creation, it's received positive feedback from nursing, midwifery, physiotherapy, and PA students, as well as patients. In fact, I now have over 300 subscribers in just 4 months. I release new videos every week. Using videos for the delivery of learning material has been especially useful during the global pandemic to allow students whose studies have been temporarily suspended to continue expanding their knowledge from the safety of their own homes. My hope for Medflix is that it can continue to help other students across the UK and across the world to realise that medicine doesn't need to be overcomplicated or scary to learn. I also hope to eventually cover all the most common specialties and continue switching up the way content is delivered to help students with different learning styles.
I was gardening, I was cooking a lot more, plus also I was relaxing a bit more because I think it's not just what we got up to. I think it was nice to have a break from our busy lifestyle. But in terms of working, I worked at the pharmacy for around a month. And then I started volunteering at Glenfield Hospital in ICU as a clinical assistant. I was just doing general nursing roles like manual handling, prescribing medication, doing patient checks, etc. Just things like that, taking the handover and stuff.
As a medical student, when you see an email asking you to come out and help, it's sort of your first instinct just to say yes. We're all in here to sort of like, that's what we want to do. We want to be in the hospital, we want to be helping people out as best as we can. And also, I was very lucky that I'm not sort of in a vulnerable shielding group. I wasn't living with anybody that was like elderly or also in a vulnerable group, so I was able to go in, and I think rather than sitting at home every day and just watching everything that was going on with great sadness, I was sort of able to get out and do my bit, which I was very lucky to be able to do.
My dissertation, my research had stopped, so I did, and I knew that I had some time on my hands, a period of time. Secondly, I was thinking, okay, let me help out because it's better if I could do that role, someone who's got clinical experience, and I had finished my third year, compared to someone in second year or first year, or someone in the community who may not have that experience. Thirdly, my dad was put on furlough, and so was my mum. So as like a basic income, I didn't know what was going to happen. I needed some money in case of my rent and stuff that I had to pay. Those are the main reasons, but also just to help out in the community as well.
My job was actually involved in research. So I think my official job title was Clinical Assistant Researcher. In reality, the job was a little bit mundane, but it was important work. So we were just getting all the patient notes. So anyone that came in to UHL that had a COVID positive swab, we would like go through all the notes that was made throughout their admission and put it into like the central UHL COVID database. So all that information could be used like to sort of see what patients get like the worst outcomes, or like what makes you more vulnerable to COVID, and you know what they're going to do in the future. Thankfully, because we were part of the team that put it in, we get to follow that through. We got to be part of some of the journal club meetings. I think just to be part of a research team, even though we were at the bottom, was still a very like interesting experience, and it was nice to know that my work was going towards something really important.
Yes, I have participated in this research project. It's trying to understand medical students' experience of working at the hospital alongside as having teaching from the university, and to see if the online learning from the university was beneficial for them, their experiences of that, and how their experiences were of actually working in the hospital as compared to placement, and to see if they can implement some of these things maybe in the course or...
You will be the first freshers to ever start a course during a pandemic, so I don't know if I'm the best person to give any advice, but how I coped was, instead of trying to think about everything that I couldn't do because of all the sort of new normal, but try to think of the things that I gained. And I can tell you from experience, going in for an 8:30 lecture on a Wednesday when it's cold and wet is not very nice. You'll see if you ever do get into the GDC lecture theatre, but the downstairs rows are freezing and the upstairs rows are boiling. So you will be the first generation that can sit at home, watch your lecture in your bed with unlimited tea. Think of the luxuries that this new normal can give, the opportunities that are available, maybe more research opportunities if that's what you're interested in. I know there's more money than ever floating around, so if you're that sort of area you want to get involved in, I'm sure the teams at UHL would be really happy to hear from any medical students.
Try to stay positive. It's easier said than done, obviously. I know there is days that will be harder than others, but don't forget that there is always light at the end of the tunnel. And my little practical tips on how to stay positive would be to set yourself on small, achievable goals. Don't be too broad with it, but say something very specific so that every time you achieve it, you can increase it. Have not only a to-do list, this is something a friend of mine recommended, but also I have done lists where you not only write all the goals you have, but you keep track of everything you've done, because there is days you might feel not as productive in terms of work you have, but there is things that need to be done anyway, such as groceries, cleaning your place, tidying up, making all these administrative things you have to do. And just by writing them down, it makes you realize how much you've actually achieved, and that helps keeping the spirits up, I think. Don't forget to reach out if you need. This is a time where a lot of people are there available. Obviously, sometimes people might be a bit shy, or when you're on your own in lockdown, you don't want to disturb anyone's bubble or anything like that. Just reach out. We're all going through the same in a different way, coping in our own little different, unique ways. But speaking is very important if you need to. That's it.
I would say just make sure you're safe and reassure your family members, because I know some of you may be living with people who may be vulnerable, you may be vulnerable yourself, but just make sure you're safe. Don't put too much pressure on yourself. Enjoy yourself, because in your first year, that is when you can join societies. That's when you should have fun. Medicine isn't life. You work to live, you don't live to work.
Hi, my name is Syed Maqbool. I'm a fourth year medical student, and I just want to talk to you about getting involved in research. I remember starting out in freshers, you're like this really motivated, and like I remember thinking, okay, you know what? I want to get involved in research. I want to find things. I want to discover new things. However, I had no idea where to start. Now, research is a vital part of medicine, but how do you get involved in research as such? How do you tackle this problem which a lot of us face where we have this passion, but we have no idea where to start? So what do you do? So first off, you want to figure out what you want to do research in. You're not going to enjoy any research in something which you are not interested in. It's just going to feel laborious and you're going to be so bored the entire time. So you figured out what you want to do research in. How do you find the research project? There are multiple avenues you can go down. Now, in terms of Leicester University specifically, there's the Leicester University Medical Research Society. They have an initiative called LINK. Now, what LINK does, every single year, it's a group of students that find research projects with which other medical students can get involved in. What LINK will do, they'll send an email once a year to your entire year saying, okay, so these are the research projects we found which you can get involved in. There'll be details about the research project. So for example, what you could potentially get out of it, could you get a publication out of it, what is it looking into? However, let's say you don't like any of the research projects. So I was interested in research, for example, in neonatal. So I contacted the neonatal department in the Leicester Royal Infirmary. So they were actually happy with it. They wanted me to get involved with this national research project, which was organised by Oxford University. There are also national audits or research projects which medical students can get involved in. So to summarise, you have the LINK project in Leicester University. You can contact the wards or departments, and you can also get involved in national initiatives. So what roles can medical students do? Now, what role entirely depends on what the research project allows you to do. So in my research project in my first year, I actually got involved in data collection. So interviewing the patients, interviewing the registrar GPs, and also doing a focus group. There's also other roles, for example, data analysis. Getting involved in data analysis is actually very useful in the long run because let's say you want to have an academic aspect when you graduate from medicine, you want to be a doctor, but at the same time you want to get involved in research. Learning about data analysis will help a lot with that. Ultimately, what tips can I give you in getting involved in research? So one huge tip which I want to particularly emphasize to you guys is that if you do not have the time, if you feel like you do not have enough time to continue with your commitment, then don't hesitate to back out. You're a medical student, this is voluntary work. If you do not have the time, just email them, they'll understand. Rather than doing the job below the best of your ability and then letting them know, tell them beforehand, tell them that, I have this issue, or I'm not able to commit as much time, is that alright? They'll be more than happy to accommodate. Other tips which I will give, in terms of research, yes, get involved in research projects which you're interested in, but also look at the research projects which you can develop your skill set in. That is the biggest mindset you can have as a medical student. Don't just get involved in things which you're interested in, get involved in things which also develop your skill set. If you're uncomfortable in, let's say, public speaking, get involved in teaching. If you're uncomfortable in talking to patients, get involved in an audit or research project which makes you talk to patients. Developing these skills will be vital for you to continue and develop as the best doctor you can be. And thank you very much, and thank you for listening to me.